African entrepreneurs employed pure grit, deployed business systems that met localized demand while tapping into global consumer trends, and possessed the ability to find creative solutions around infrastructural challenges that helped drive the continent's average economic growth of around 2.7% this year. Well, the Carmen report looks at entrepreneurial drive in Africa in 2018.
She may spend much of her time conjuring up luxurious and whimsical confections, but Blondie Okuzo is as tough as they come. She's had to mix her passion for creating dessert-inspired skincare with the realities of doing business in Nigeria. The country has inched its way out of recession, but small to medium enterprises like Blondie's Bath Candy are still hamstrung by irregular electricity supply and a disparity between the educational system and the actual needs of startups trying to wean one of Africa's biggest economies off its dependence on oil revenues.
You need power, so if you're running your generator 24 hours, that's a bit of a challenge, right? Another issue that we faced was employment and staffing. I think we're good now, but it took a while for us to get to a place where we were okay and comfortable with what we had. Another thing would be Forex. Thankfully, the exchange rate is coming down, so it's better.
In neighboring Cameroon, Kate Kume is as determined as Blondie Okuzo to nip at and tuck away some of that projected revenue for Africa. But apart from the infrastructural challenges that came with launching the cosmetics range she developed specifically for African skin, Kume also had to push against the perception that African products don't make the grade.
When we started at the beginning, the first thing was, oh, it's Cameroonian. And then I would rather buy some other brand because it's a brand name and it's from somewhere else. It doesn't matter where it's from. It doesn't even matter about the quality. But bit by bit, I think our strategy was a very good one. We got people to see the results of the makeup. We constantly made sure that in the face of the public, they were seeing exactly the capacity, how good our products were, how long they were lasting.
35-year-old Abdi Mohamed Ado also lights up when the issue of changing perceptions about Africa's potential pop-ups. While living in Europe, Ado had a light bulb moment about the fact that less than 20% of Somalia has access to electricity. The little there is powered by diesel generators, a relatively expensive and dirty form of energy. Every cent counts in a country where the United Nations says over 40% of the population lives below the poverty line. Also, power companies are constrained to the capital, so Ado's energy-efficient LED and solar-powered products like water pumps and fridges are in high demand. Entrepreneurship is in essence a war against an assault of variables, and in any war, adequate preparedness, timely information, and a clear strategy are essential for victory.
It takes a while for these other costs to start
South Africa's Vusi Tembekwayo is part of a growing flock of African business coaches that aim to provide critical economic intelligence and training to African entrepreneurs.
Somebody has to pay for it without the ability to see it. We see it. What we don't have is once you see it, where do you go? So market access is a huge problem. And to understand market access, you need to understand the structure of the South African economy. The South African economy, by its nature, locks out small players.
And that's one thing that's been clear and understood this year. Africa can't just entrepreneur its way out of the volatile and ultimately unfriendly business ecosystem that currently exists.
So that's also just helped for us to understand, where our market is, how to grow, as well as, just staying in our lane and not looking to grow too fast, so we can service our clientele in a manner which they deserve.
It's low-cost housing. It's flats, like an auction, an auction. So low-cost housing. Yeah, in a way. Yeah, but guys, yes, but
I just don't understand it. You're
Governments across the continent will need to do their part and create enabling policies for African entrepreneurs to grow and thrive within and beyond the continent's borders.
And the Securities and Exchange Commission here in Nigeria is yet to receive a formal application for the mergers of Access and Diamond Banks, which hit the new wires within the last 2 weeks. The Acting Director General of the Commission, Ms. Mary Uduk, confirmed this in an exclusive interview with Channels Television today. Ms. Uduk also assures shareholders with multiple subscriptions that there is no penalty attached to the regularization of shares.
In terms of Access and Diamond Bank proposed merger, we have received, I can say definitely that we have received a formal notification informing us about their proposed merger, but we have not yet received any formal application in respect of the merger. But for some people are worried about what will happen to shareholders, in both banks, particularly Diamond Bank. I would rather say that the merger, whether or not both institutions should merge, is actually in the hands of shareholders, as they would be the one to vote to support the merger or disallow the merger, depending on what are the proposals that are put before them. I wouldn't say that they are reluctant to regularize, because it is in their interest for them to regularize their holdings, to consolidate them into their formal names. We already know the background, which is that during the banking and insurance sector consolidations, way back in 2005 to 2007, a lot of investors, completed more than one application forms, and of course they did that by juggling their names and sometimes using fictitious names. But what they failed to realize is that the capital market has a way of checkmating, some violations, because for you to be able to claim these shares, you have to be able to identify yourself, and therefore the names that were juggled and the fictitious names do not have identities that are traced to these individuals, and therefore they were not able to claim their shares, and because of that, their certificates are not with them, so they can neither trade nor be able to take the benefit of what those shares that they paid for, would give them, which is like the right issues, the bonus shares, and as well as dividends. And this is why we have. This is when we realize that a lot of the accumulated unclaimed dividends is as a result of these issues, because investors are not able. Couldn't claim their shares, and they are not able to get the dividends. And then what have we done? We have gone back to them we are mobilizing all of the receiving agents at the time and asking them to please look back into their records and see and look at these names, and particularly for those that were paid for, and get them, to the registrars. And investors are also advised to contact their registrars. I want to stress to Nigerians that there's absolutely no penalty attached to this reconciliation. We just want it for the sake of the market to be properly reconciled, and also for their own sake to be able to take ownership of their shares and also reap the benefit, the dividends or the benefit of having bought those shares. And therefore, we are not penalizing them. We want to be able to help the market and let the market be transparent and investors' confidence return.
Mary Uduk, Acting Director General, Nigeria Securities and Exchange Commission. And with that, we wrap up today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimizi Obi Igwago.